Hey, how are Hey everybody, how are you? Kyle with Confident Canines here, and today I want to talk to you about why we do a full training program. So, if you don't know, here at Confident Canines, we don't do like one-on-one, a batch of 2 lessons or work on like this one little thing. We do a full training program. And so sometimes people wonder why that is. Or is a full training program appropriate for my dog? Or even people who do our training program, they might think, okay, I brought my dog in for massive leash reactivity. My dog's going crazy on the leash. So why are we doing long downstays at the park and making sure that my dog knows how to recall? Why do I care? Why do I care if my dog stays in place if my issues are out on the leash? All good questions. And I think that scenario really provides the best way of looking at why a full program can be so beneficial. And while it may not be the best course of action for everybody, it is for most people and most dogs. So here's why. Let's say you brought in your dog for massive leash reactivity. We see that all the time. So of course, we're gonna work on walking in a tight heel. We're gonna work on I've got a dog right here. We're going to make sure your dog walks in a tight heel. We're going to walk your dog around distractions. We're going to make sure they know how to focus and how to ignore those barking dogs and all that good stuff. But we're going to do some other stuff too. We're going to get your dog relaxing in the crate. We're going to get your dog relaxing on place and holding place for hours at a time around distractions. We're going to work on holding downstays around high levels of distraction, being able to do off-leash recall around high levels of distraction, being able to hold a downstay at 50, 100, 200 feet away, and then be recalled. Why? Because the reason, well, not really the reason, but the skills that your dog needs to improve upon if they're having struggles, being reactive on walks, getting distracted by barking dogs, becoming escalated and panicky and adrenalized. Some things that we need to work on. We need to work on their ability to focus on doing something other than looking at those other dogs. Specifically focus on their job, walking at a heel, walking in a specific position at a specific pace, dictated by you. They need to improve their impulse control, that they might still have these impulses, and they probably, depending on how long they've been doing it, even a few weeks into training, they will probably still have at times an impulse to look at those other dogs, to react to those other dogs or people or kids or whatever the case may be. So they need impulse control. They need to learn how to be calm, to pay attention, which is kind of focus. Patience is a big one too. So focus, impulse control, patience, all good skills to have, all very necessary skills for a dog who has leash reactivity, because they need to be able to drown out that other that noise going on around them. Okay, so what does holding a downstay have to do with that? What does holding a place have to do with that? Well, if you're going to hold place for hours at a time around high levels of distraction, you're going to need focus, you're going to need impulse control, and you're going to need patience. The same thing if you're holding a downstay at a park 100 feet away, you're going to need focus. The dog needs to be able to focus on holding the command that they've been given. They need impulse control because they might have an impulse to get up and follow you as you walk away to recall them. They might have an impulse to get up and go smell something as they're at a park and there's lots of good smells. There's probably dog pee all around them. And they need patience. They need patience to wait for you to recall them. That's something you'll notice a lot with a lot of dogs when you're doing this training. Is that, okay, maybe you put your dog in a downstay and then you walk away and then you turn around to recall them, but you don't do it yet. You just turn around to do it. And they get up and they run to you because they're like, oh, I know what you're going to do. You're going to call me. I'm going to beat you to it. And what we want is wait until I call you because I might not. I might do something else. And so that's all a part of the proofing process. But having that patience to not assume what you're going to have them do, but to wait for you to actually give them instruction. And so that is why, because all these different things that we do all build up these skills of focus, impulse control, and patience, and other things too. But those are some big ones. And being able to build up those skills in a variety of different circumstances are going to make those skills that much stronger in those situations in which you're having the biggest trouble, in this case on the walk. In the short answer to all of this is that why, if my dog has, problem X, why do I focus on, Y and Z? Because behavior issues in dogs do not exist in a vacuum. Almost all of the time. That's why. They do not exist in a vacuum. It is guaranteed that your dog is going to be struggling in other aspects of their life. This is just the thing that is bothering you the most. This is where you're maybe seeing the most explosive behavior. But when I talk to somebody, even if they might not realize it, and that's totally normal because people don't always, it's like, you don't always know exactly what all of your problems are. You're not a dog trainer. You don't see hundreds and thousands of dogs. You haven't been working with dogs for years and years, so you might not know exactly what to look for. But if you ask someone, what's your big trouble, and they say, my dog is reactive on the leash, and you say, okay, what else? And they say, oh, nothing else really. But then you start asking some questions like, okay, well, is your dog okay in the crate? Well, no, he kind of barks and whines in the crate. Is your dog waited patiently at thresholds? No, he really, he runs through the door. Does he come when he called? No, not really. Sometimes, but not if there's a lot of distractions. And so, once you start really, getting into what's going on, you realize the dog is struggling again with impulse control, focus, and their behavior in general in a lot of different areas. This is just, there's these certain areas, like a lot of the times the crate or it's on the walk or something like that, or maybe when people come over, where it's the most explosive, it's the most present, it's the most in your face, and it's the most problematic for owners. But that's why dog behaviors do not exist in a vacuum. It's really the same for us. Most people, if they have anxiety in one part of their life, maybe they're most anxious in one situation, but that probably carries over into other aspects of their life, whether they realize it or not. If you have stress in one part of your life, if we're stressed at work, I think we all have experienced, bringing that stress home with us, even if we don't want to or we don't intend to, in some small way at least. We're probably bringing that stress home with us, or we're letting it seep into other areas of our life. So that is why there's so much importance on training the whole dog. I've heard, it referred to as if you don't, if you just target one behavior, it's like playing whack-a-mole. And it's so true. It's so true. It will just redirect into some other area. It will be so hard to manage, and you'll just be constantly chasing those behavior issues instead of really getting a hold on them. Like I said, if there's just something really, really minor, you might occasionally have a dog that, maybe a whole program isn't exactly what you want to do. Maybe if you have a really old dog or something like that. But I would say for like 99% of people, a whole training program is going to be what gets high levels of results. And that's at Confident Canines, what we're focused on is getting high levels of results. Sometimes people ask, well, do you do like a 1 week board and train instead of like a 3 week board and train? Because, my dog doesn't, I don't think they need 3 weeks. The answer is no. Why? Because our program is designed to produce highly trained dogs. Highly trained dogs don't come from a week of training. They come from 2, 3, 4 weeks of training. And so that's why. I want to be able to train the whole dog. I want my results to be consistent, and I want you to be satisfied with what you get. So I will go ahead and end it right there. I could go on and on. But why do we train the whole dog? That's why. Their behaviors don't exist in a vacuum. They need impulse control, focus, and patience in all areas of their life in order to maximize the results that you get and to make it as easy as possible to address the issues that you are most concerned with. So with that, I will see you in the next video. This is Kyle with Confident Canines, and thanks for watching.